If I get hit by those frost orbs she shoots out, those are probably going to do an absolute shit ton of damage. Purple, 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 purple. Look at her health. Level 15 boss, by the way. Level 15 boss, by the way. She's almost dead. Dead. Holy shit. Vanquisher's Book of Knowledge. Hell yeah. Dude, the cast speed that we're stacking, I think is coming in clutch with the totem damage. Okay, so she's way stronger than when we just fought her a little bit ago. Ow, God, that hurts. Still got her. Nice, she dropped 2 15s. Hell yeah.
The dreamer provides.
Hell yeah. Just don't die. Easy peasy. We gaming. We gaming. We got that speed now. Oh. Little stuck, little stuck. Oh, there's a yellow guy over there. Okay. Let's clear out behind us first. Hi. Oh, he's dead. All right, well, there we go. I was like, let's focus the yellow guy now, but he's dead, so never mind. Oh, let me with that rock. I'm lagging. What do you do with the rock? Oh, he held it for so long. Let's go. Oh. 2 tier 15 map drops. Hey YouTube, I'm just Anthony. Welcome back to the updated Mad Monk build guide for the Acolyte of Chayula. This is going to be the 1.2 update for the guide. At the start, I showed you some of the bossing now that we're in tier 15 maps, and then some, of course, just tier 15 map mob clearing. That is just with the current items we have now. I wanted to put a very good distinction at the start with a plus 15 map boss that is irradiated, but with no Atlas modifiers, and then that exact same boss that we buffed up 2 times with bonus boss difficulty on the Atlas. So we buffed it up with +2 to the map boss difficulty, and you can see the difference between a regular tier 15 map and a tier 15 map with a +2 on there. It's a noticeable difference, so just be very careful if you are buffing your map bosses past 15. They do scale pretty rapidly, especially with overall HP pool. But moving right on into it, we have made some changes with the skill tree, but first I want to get into the abilities. I know that we've been covering just the gems that we use in the abilities in our 1.0 and 1.1 guide. This time I'm just going to link the support gems for those abilities down in the description, and I'm going to actually cover the abilities right now for you so you can see the rotation. It's something I should have did beforehand. Alrighty guys, moving right on into the abilities. I'll try to cover this quick to go over the rotations both for mapping and for bossing or doing any type of the league mechanics that are in the game, because they have different functionalities. So for generalized mapping, we have the Essence Drain, the Contagion, and the Despair. These are going to be your primary abilities you're using while mapping. You'll use just these 3 abilities a lot of the time. You throw the Essence Drain, hit that same mob with the Contagion into the Despair, but you're casting these all very quickly. Boom, boom, boom. That's it, on the same mob as they're running at you. That very first mob that gets hit with all of this immediately is going to die very quickly, which is perfect. That's exactly what you want, because then it's going to chain reaction and spread to everything behind them as all the mobs are running at you. And you can actually just like run away. If it's a wide open map, you can just run away and start heading to the next pack. That pack's gonna die. You can just, it's like watching an explosion in the background. You can just walk to the next pack. They're all dead already. They just don't know it. Move on. Now, if we're going to do a boss, or if we're going to do a league mechanic like opening an essence or a breach, or trying to do expedition where you're blowing up the explosives, we have a pre-setup for the build, and it involves the effigy totems and the vine arrows. Effigy totems also can be used for clearing the maps, by the way. If you want to bam, 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 drop a totem, after the mobs get all the targets on them, the totem is just going to start machine gunning damage. Fantastic. But bossing and league mechanics. If this was an essence right here in the middle of the map where the map device is, you're going to shoot some vine arrows down where all the essence mobs are, drop your 2 totems, and immediately open the essence mob, and then roll away the moment you open the essence. What's going to happen is all the plants are going to grab the essence mobs, and then the 2 totems are going to immediately start shooting, because the plants are doing chaos damage over time, which are going to allow your totems to immediately start doing damage while you roll away and then throw all of your abilities and then get your totems back out again. So the plants should last the entire time of the essence encounter. If you like shoot them, get your totems out, activate it, roll away, and boom, you're gonna kill everything before these plants even go away. It's very, very nice. You can do this with bosses. Bosses, you walk up into the arena, they have a little like wake up animation, whatever the boss is doing. You just want to shoot some plants, throw your totems down, and then start the boss fight like normal. And while you're bossing, The big thing to note is we are a dot-based build. We're not actively attacking once our totems are out and our dots are on the target. You want to prioritize running around the arena, picking up purple flames, picking up blue for more mana, the red for more HP, whatever you need to do. We're literally just running around like Pac-Man, picking up flames and thus reapplying our dots on the boss and summoning more totems as they die. That's all we're doing. We're a dot build, and we have a ascendancy that says, hey, go pick up these flames, you're gonna do more damage. So that's our priority, was when we're in boss fights. Small arenas are actually better for us because there can only be so much space that a flame can spawn, and you can easily go around and pick up a lot of flames very rapidly in a small arena because they just don't stop spawning. It's spawn, spawn, spawn. So don't forget that. It's amazing. All right, guys, let's jump over to the skill tree. All right, jumping into the skill tree, some things have changed, but not too much. We, of course, are always going to leave a link down in the description so you can actually just go to max roll and see the skill tree for yourself without having to pause the YouTube video. It's always going to be there for you whenever you need to load it up on another page. Going down here, I will say that we did finish our third ascendancy. We got that chaos resistance, the +10 to maximum chaos resistance, and our chaos resistance is doubled. We can have 85% chaos resistance. Fantastic. I don't care about chaos resistance anymore. When I see chaos mobs now, and also remember the latest patch, GGG nerfed the chaos damage of the enemies in the late game. So now chaos damage tickles us. It doesn't hardly do anything. It's laughable. I love it. I love that we can get 85% chaos resistance. Moving down here, we did finish off our skill speed tree from last time. We were working on this. We hadn't got it yet, so we finished this off. Moving up, this is all the same, but right here in the middle, we did make some changes. We took away the area of effect of curses, little nodes right here with the zone of control. These mostly just had all area of effect, and it said enemies are hindered with 15% reduced movement speed, which is not a lie. Our Contagion has the full 30% hinder, and now our Contagion has 4 socketed jewels, which we put Encumbrance to make our slow from hinder even stronger. So our Contagion has a really great slow. We don't need this anymore. We are losing the 8% increased effect of your curses, so maybe a couple more percent on our despair we're losing, but I'm okay with that by getting 4 points back for our skill tree, and we honestly don't need this increased area of effect. Our despair has still got like a 2.4 or 2.5 meter radius circle without this zone of control, so we're okay. It's still a big circle, or big enough that these 4 points can be used elsewhere. We did finish this differently from the 1.1 build. We talked about this last time. We now have that the debuff that we inflict from slow, which is our hinder contagion, the slow magnitude is increased by 4%, and the duration is increased too. So our hinder duration when we put on contagion is longer. And then while the target is hindered, it's going to have 30% increased damage from hits and 10% more slow magnitude again. So our Contagion, it's a very big slow now. It's awesome because that is a defensive layer. When everything is around you is running really slowly, like, that's amazing. And then the 30% increased damage from hits is going to help our effigy totems. And the effigy totems, again, are those machine gun damage of hits. So these 3 points are much more valuable than these 4 points. Coming up, we did finish getting the cast speed tree right up here with cast speed, mana regen, intelligence. This is very good because it just synergizes well with our skill speed down here. And don't forget, we also have skill speed on our Acolyte of Chayula tree. So that's why I kind of started building all the cast speed. And it just turns out cast speed is insane on this build because all of the increased spell damage and gem levels is helping our dot damage, but all the cast speed is just helping our effigy totem in like a lot. It's scaling the effigy totem. So even on our gear, we're getting cast speed. And this morning, our new jewels we bought, we are buying jewels like this that have chaos or spell damage, chaos damage, and cast speed. And if you can afford it, get mana regeneration as your last one, and you will be chilling. I did buy a couple of these this morning. I tried to buy cheaper ones. They only had 2% cast speed is what made them cheaper. If I tried to get the 3% cast speed, it would have jumped up the prices pretty good. And I'm struggling on currency right now, so I could only afford the spell damage, chaos, and 2% cast speed. And I only bought 2 of them this morning. That's all I bought because I wanted to just limit myself. I still have other ones that, like, this is crap right here. This is crap. Spell damage is pretty much all this is giving me. So I definitely need to get more jewels. The rest of our skill tree is the same. I will say we are going to get this jewel socket here and this jewel socket here and get very similar jewels so we can continue stacking our spell damage, chaos damage, and cast speed. Very, very important. I know there are lots of talks around mind over matter. We were looking at mind over matter. This is definitely a much later game build where your gear is far more expensive and we can switch to it. But we also uncovered a mind over matter possible problem is because we were going to, we're converting our energy shield to mana, but there seems to be an issue where if you take increased energy shield nodes, we weren't getting more mana. You had to take off Eldritch Battery, then allocate these nodes, then put Eldritch Battery back on. And even when you do that, the conversion from shield to mana wasn't correct. It wasn't converting. It was converting less over as mana. So there's something happening where you're not getting a portion of the increased energy shield nodes converted to mana. Now, I know other builds are going like really heavy into you know, energy shield builds and stuff like that, which is fantastic. But if we're doing mom and we have a 50% less mana recovery rate and we can't scale accurately with the energy shield nodes, I'm just okay with not doing it. And it might sound like it's not that far away, right? If we're getting this gym and we're just going here, 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 it's 5 nodes. But I really have 5 other nodes that I want. And if we do go here, we need to invest in other nodes in the middle here for bonus mana, intelligence, mana regeneration. We would have to lose so many of the nodes we have right now that are making our build strong. So going mind over matter just currently isn't feasible because we don't have enough nodes that I'm willing to drop to not only go over here, but then also invest in mana related nodes in the center here that are going to make mind over matter actually really worth it. And honestly, we don't need it. If I'm being honest, the build's currently doing just fine and we still have to scale. Our gear is medium budget at best. We still have to scale into high level budget gear. So I'm excited for that. It's going to take a lot of farming. That's where the next week's going to get into is, you know, it's the farm week's about to begin so we can start earning. But I love the build. I love where it's at. And we're going to keep going to see if it can hold up with all the content. I know there's a lot of people asking and requesting to do like a build guide on a website of some sort. I am looking into that now that we are getting to the final stages, and I feel like the build's pretty darn fleshed out. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know if we do have a build up on a site, so it'll be a little bit easier to follow. Yeah, that covers the skill tree. Alrighty, jumping into our equipment real fast. We have not had many changes since the 1.1 guide other than the offhand that you see on screen, our shield, which arguably is the most important item in our entire build for survivability. I wish I was suggesting using this in the 1.1 and 1.0 guide instead of the focus for damage. We don't need a focus for damage. Our damage is pretty darn good. I'll take a damage cut in order to survive tons of stuff, and that's going to all come down to this shield right here. This is a medium budget shield. This didn't cost me very much because I kind of got it at a steal. I think it was about 25x that I got it for. It's got 45% block chance, a lot of life, 180 life, and then fire resist, lightning resist. The strength can pretty much be converted to more life on that. And then it's just got armor and energy shield because those are the bases we're trying to get for all of our gear. For my personal preference, I'm not going with invasion. This shield right here, for players that don't know, and I found out that while people were watching me on Twitch, there's a lot of newer players and also players who just never use a shield. In PoE 2 especially, shields are cracked. They're so good, and it's so easy to get a high block chance shield. On this shield, I am not using Q. I am not raising the shield to block attacks. When it says block chance 45%, that is a passive block chance. So 45%, almost half of all attacks that would try to hit my character are going to be blocked. More than that, I've had times where 6 different ranged mobs will shoot me as I'm walking up to them from off screen, and this shield will block every single projectile. The little porcupines shooting the quills, all as you hear is ding, 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 and I take 0 damage, and I'm like, whoa, hey, chill out. This is amazing, and that happens all day. Probably today during the stream, probably had like 5,000 blocked attacks. It's just blocking non-stop all the time, which is really nice too, because we're trying to clump a bunch of enemies up. Or if you get mosh pitted by a lot of enemies, but you already have your dots up and you're trying to get them to start exploding and create the chain reaction, this shield is going to keep you alive while you're just getting mosh pitted by enemies. And what's really, really nice, players don't know, you can block boss attacks, not the big red attacks that make that noise notification that they're about to just slam you or hit you with the one shot. That's just an unblockable attack. It's a red attack. You're going to get hit, right? If you don't obey the mechanic. But everything else, if the boss, like the giant monkey with the pillar, I fought him in a tier 13 map, I think it was yesterday. Every time he swung the club around or tried to do a normal smash or anything like that, when the block happened with the shield and he's doing a little swing around, it just goes dinks. It pushes my character back a little bit. No damage received. So do not sleep on the shield. Get rid of a focus if you're having trouble surviving. You will have trouble surviving when you get to high tier maps if you don't switch to a shield. I'm telling you right now, if you don't, you're gonna die a lot, and you're gonna be like, man, Anthony's build sucks. All right, and I don't want to hear that. When the build's good, we just have to prioritize our survival. GGG really didn't want us going focus with this build because we have a uptime where we have to get all of our abilities out first, and then they do damage. We don't have immediate damage and screen clear. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Everything else is exactly the same as what we had last time. Go over it really briefly. That wand right here, necklace, helmet, chest piece, gloves, belt, and boots. Those are the items we currently have. These are low to middle tier items. None of these are high tier items. I would say medium tier for some stuff. Some stuff, you know, cost an okay amount, like this wand right here. But it doesn't cost anything like an extraordinary amount of currency. So, but the market is going up every single day. As all of you know that are playing, the market is going up and up and up. And until we get to it stabilized, we'll see where it goes. But right now the market is just in a constant chaotic flux. It's wild, but it is what it is. All right, moving on. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. That's the update for the 1.2 version of the build. Now that we're doing a tier 15 maps and we're getting them nice and buffed up and starting to farm them, they're pretty dangerous. We're going to be trying to do our best to live. We are level 89, like I said, so we're going to be working on going on to 90 tomorrow. Jumping on Endo, I do want to talk about the Atlas and the skill trees that you have for the Atlas. This is kind of like what my map currently looks like after I buff stuff up. You see here, you got these lost towers that you put precursor stones in, and when you put precursor stones in them, you can buff the levels. So you have this little minion symbol with an up arrow. That means that that area has an increased level of mods. So I click right here, it says area level +1 for the monsters. So you want to get to these towers as much as you can, put precursors in there. These do overlap, so then you can buff so much stuff in this area. This one right over here, as you see, it's got a boss, it's got expedition, it's got irradiated, so +1 monster level, and it's corrupted, so it's going to have another +1 monster level. So it has +2 monster levels plus a boss, and it's got an expedition, and then the boss is going to have +2 levels because of our Atlas skill tree. This is going to be the next map that's going to give me another skill book for my bossing. Jumping into the Atlas itself, this is what our base Atlas looks like. Let's cover the bottom part first. I do have those Waystone drop chance, rarity for Waystones. The Waystones can drop a higher tier, all right here. And then we have the precursor tablets and the local knowledge. Local knowledge, I think, is pretty cool. It might be underrated, mostly for the swamp and water biomes and the grass biomes. The socket currency and the basic currency is really nice, and having increased chance when you're in those biomes is awesome. Other than that, everything else I got is monster pack size. I want as many monsters on the map as I can get, because we have amazing map wave clear, and we can just actually chain pack from pack to pack, because the monsters will just bleed into each other with them being such large pack sizes, which is going to enable our build to clear the map even easier. So pack size is what I went for, and I love pack size anyways, because I love just having, you know, 60 mobs on your screen that you're just blowing up with the impending doom and all of the chaos dots. It's really nice to see it. Moving on up, this is what's buffing our bosses right now. So we've gone into +1 boss difficulty, the rarity of all items dropped by bosses, +1 map boss difficulty, and then +25% chance to drop Waystones. This is what's allowing our bosses to drop a bunch of Waystones when they die. But I will say, just these 2 difficulty modifiers, as you saw at the beginning of the guide, really buffs the boss. Like, holy moly, the difference between HP and even damage of the boss goes up pretty considerably every single time you take one of these. So, word of caution, if you don't, when you get the tier 15s, but you want to farm a while and you don't want to struggle too much with the bosses, this build, as where it is right now that I have it, will destroy tier 15 bosses if you don't buff them up. If they're not irradiated, plus, you know, boss level difficulties here, plus corrupted by the coalesced corruption on the map, be careful. The bosses scale very rapidly by just +1. You don't think it's very much, but at +1 on these bosses with the area level plus these nodes right here, or if you decided to go this way with the quantity, these scale the boss very quickly. So just be aware of that. I am going to put some extra boss footage at the end of us fighting some +2 bosses for right here that also have irradiated on the map. So irradiated and +2 to show you the difference between a regular 15 and a 15 that has just a few buffs to it, and how the build works. So all right, guys, let's move on over to that. Actually, I think the guide's over. I think we're done. I will see you guys next time, and enjoy your day, and enjoy every day after today. I'll see you later. Looks like watch his blades. They're good. Got him. Let's go. Let's go, dude. That's +2 difficulty level on the Atlas. Nice, dude. Let's go.
Is there no limit to corruption's influence?
still charging it up, right? That's gonna just burn the shit out of me, but it's okay. I gotta see shit.